Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Good Cop 2.0, the podcast. I think we've just officially come up with a name.
You sounded like Brent when you did that.
Well, we're Canadian and
Canadian thing. Okay.
I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or I'm just trying to be like Brent. So we needed video for this because her facial expressions were priceless. I can't... Anyways, here at Good Cop 2.0 in the studio with me, I have Nancy Loucas, who is the executive coordinator for CAPHRA. Welcome, Nancy.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks for having me.
I have really gotten to know you this last year. Like
Yes.
2025 has been the Nancy Maria year.
Yep. It's been the Greek Girls Gone Wild year. Yes.
Coming here, what Dave said to me was, is the other Greek going to be there?
Yes.
I said, yes, Nancy's going to be there. He asked me if H is going to be there because he met a few people at...
Yeah. We love Dave. Dave's great. Dave, wherever you are, we love you.
Yeah, I love him too. He's good. We need supportive people in our life to do this.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, because it's a little crazy.
Yeah, Dave, my husband, knows very, very little of this world. Very few people.
It's hard to explain. I mean, unless you're in the middle of it, it is very difficult to explain to people what you do and why you do it, because people just can't wrap their brains around it.
I know. My dad can't. Oh, well, my dad's gone now, but my dad couldn't. But I do remember me reading my keynote and him at the end of it saying, I have no idea what you do, but it was good. I'm very proud of you.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what dads are for.
That's what dads do.
And I really think that activism is in our blood, both of us.
Advocacy, yes. I mean, I remember my Bapumu, my grandfather, I remember him saying to me as a child, saying, the whole purpose of being here is we're supposed to be taking care of each other.
That's so true. And when he says here, meaning on earth.
Yeah. The whole point of this, because, my family, it was an issue of, my grandfather was Cypriot, and he was in Cyprus during the invasion in 1974. And the only reason he and the rest of the family got out was because my grandfather was very well known in his village, and he was friends with the Turks and the Greeks. Cyprus is an interesting place. We don't have enough time for it, but suffice to say, they got out and they weren't killed. So that had a lot to do with the way my grandfather was. My grandfather was a very personable, accepting, inclusive person, and that was just who he was, and he tried to instill that in my brother and I.
That's amazing. And you have done that through advocating for safer products.
I would like to think so, yeah, because it's not about me, it's about people.
Yeah, and when you put people first, there's this different kind of vibe that you give out. You can't fake it. There's an authenticity to that belief.
I agree, yes. I mean, there are some people in the space in the past that I've known that I thought, originally they were great advocates, and then something just didn't jive. It was more about them than about the others.
Yeah, you just walk away from that.
I can't have time for that.
Yeah, I know. And I know that this has been it's a very interesting space because, CAPHRA gets a lot of criticism.
Oh, yeah.
And I am a little jealous.
Why? You want my criticism?
Because
you can have it.
Okay, no, but to me, I look at criticism from those people as a rite of passage of being feared. It's
a rite of passage. I know what you're saying, because the thing with me is when I first, when I get attacked, my first reaction obviously is reactive, and I'm like, but then I stop and think about it. I'm like, wait a minute, that means they're paying attention, so I must be triggering them. That's a good thing.
No, it is. And also, you took some of that $1.8 billion that they're funded away from their efforts to stop safer nicotine products somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
And so again, to me, that is, they know who we are.
Yeah, if they know who you are and they're attacking you, chances are, it's a fear factor, and it's also it's mainly fear. I mean, when we talk about fear, and I've said this in a couple of presentations I've made, is human nature being what it is. If somebody is fearful of something, chances are they're fearful because they don't understand it, or alternatively, they do understand it and they've been trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. I tend to think it's the latter situation in terms of the attacks that I get. Yeah. They say I see through them.
Well, FCTC called us out, saying there's only one good cop. So thank you for noticing. Number 2 is that FCTC is secretive.
Of course.
Are they trying to pull the wool over people's eyes? What do you think?
Well, let's think about this. I mean, if we dive deep into this, the FCTC Secretariat is mainly supposed to be there to help the country's direct policy. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the FCTC Secretariat and the approved civil society NGOs telling people you must do this and you must do that. And if you don't do this, well, we're gonna publicly humiliate you by giving you a dirty ashtray award.
Okay, that I have issues with that.
I have issues with that. I've always had issues with that. And the fact that they did it to New Zealand this year I took it kind of personal, to be honest with you.
And I think though that's a statement of you're doing things right at this point.
Yeah.
I would rather my country, I don't think Canada is ready to shake stuff up, but I would rather my country, if my country got a Lotus Award, I would be mortified and fearful of what the future holds.
You mean an Orchid Award?
Oh, an Orchid. Oh, sorry. I thought it was a Lotus. This is how much I pay attention to their good stuff. But I would be more concerned based on the history of, based on the history of who's received it and what we've seen.
Yes.
I would be more concerned about if my country where I'm living got an Orchid Award.
I mean, you look at it this year. New Zealand went in there and they basically told them, this is what we've done and this is how much success we've had. And they basically were told, well, you didn't do what we wanted you to do, so therefore you're in the naughty corner.
Yeah, you didn't do it our way.
No.
Someone's looking for their phone. Okay, we're gonna just take a quick little pause. Okay, guys, we took a little break and we're back because the phone has been found.
Phone has been found.
I lose my stuff all the time, so I totally understand that.
It's relatable. Wait till you hit real menopause.
Oh, no, I'm in real menopause.
Oh, God bless.
Someone told me that nicotine helps menopausal women. Now, again, we haven't done a study on it because obviously we would never do a study to help women during menopause and the effects of nicotine on it. However, someone said that, and I'm just thinking about it. But let's get back to...
brain fog. It would eliminate brain fog. Get back to what we were talking about.
Yeah. About the orchid.
Yep.
It is concerning. New Zealand did everything right, but they got punished because they did everything right based on the needs of their own population.
Exactly. And that is in direct opposition to what this treaty is about. This treaty is supposed to be about empowering countries to do the right thing by their own people. But yet the way it's being interpreted, or as I like to say, misinterpreted, is it's our way or the highway.
It's so hard for me to understand. And I think for me, where my complexity or my frustration lies is I'm so shocked of what a quiet role Canada plays for standing up for tobacco harm reduction.
Canadians are nice. Canadians don't like to rock the boat. You know this, Maria.
I know, but they do. I don't know. It's just we have regulations that we live in a country that harm reduction is protected by our charter. It's already been challenged. Mm-hmm. It's already there. Mm-hmm. Yet we go on the global thing and don't say anything about it. It breaks my heart.
I think there's a lot of countries and a lot of delegations that feel, okay, let's try to break this down. There are countries that are on the fence and they don't want to rock the boat. And there are countries that are doing what they need to do for their people, but they don't want to speak out because they don't want to be the scapegoat.
Or the target.
Yeah.
And that is scarier, that NGOs and non-government organizations, so enough with I will explain what the acronyms are, have that power to cancel out entire nations because they're reducing smoking rates based on what's best for them.
Right. It's like I said, it's diametrically opposed to the intent of the treaty. But here we are, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah. But what happens next? Like, during this COP, there's so many things. The fact is they want to eradicate nicotine.
Yeah. The entire focus has gone completely from combustible tobacco and the harms of combustible tobacco to conflating nicotine and creating a nicotine-free generation. And, from a scientific perspective, nicotine doesn't kill people. Combustion does. And yet, if you go to a lot of countries, the places where the safer product or the nicotine-based non-combustive product is available, is available. Cigarettes are also available, but in a lot of these countries, especially in Asia Pacific, it's banned. The safer product is banned, but you can get combustible tobacco anywhere, and it's cheap as.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, you even look at China. China's here as a delegation, are they not?
Yeah, of course, always.
But they own their own tobacco company.
So does India, so does Vietnam, so does Thailand. In Philippines, you've got it in Indonesia. Hello, it's Japan. Well, Japan's got JTI, but there's government interests in tobacco is a very common, prevalent thing in the developing world, or as some people call it, the low and middle income countries, the LMICs. And you have to take into consideration that those are people. There's livelihoods involved. There's smallholder farmers and things. But to turn around and ban the safer thing, again, self-interest.
It's so clear. And then for the FCTC to allow these people to be part of it.
The FCTC gives these people awards.
And they own tobacco companies.
Yep.
So but they own tobacco companies that they feel that they can control in some way?
No, I think it's a matter of the almighty the dollar, dinero. It's about money.
Yeah. And what do you think about Mexico?
Well, right now, Mexico is a dictatorship, so
it's horrifying to see that they're getting accolades for literally banning it, but making it a constitutional ban.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, the countries that have won that Orchid Award are all the countries that have done the WHO's bidding.
The harm on their people.
Collateral damage, dirty smoker, they'd get what they deserve. I swear that's what they think. In the 9 years that I've been doing this, I would say that the majority of the stigma that happens comes from the government on down, and they don't see value in lives. Yet they'll be the first people to turn around and go, oh my God, the children and all this and all that. You're lying, okay? Because all life is the sanctity exists in all life. You can't pick and choose who you want and who you don't want.
And I think for me, the hardest thing is the hypocrisy as well. Yeah. Is that, okay, we've banned all this. Well, we're not responsible for the illicit trade that's happening.
Well, Australia, classic example of that. In Australia, somebody mentioned one out of every 1490 cigarettes was legal, right? In Australia, they don't even track illicit tobacco or illicit vape. In their minds, it's not official, so it's not necessary for them to track it. And they're not the only ones that do it. There are quite a few countries that do that.
Yeah. We can see in Canada. And again, I always say I have Canada as my best example because it's what I know the best. Yeah. And I'm not going to... there's so much to learn about your own country. How much more can you learn about another country that's...
But you can see that you see the similarities and the trends. And this... we knew back in 2016, Bob Innes, who is an advocate from NNA Scotland, or he was, we sat there and we spoke, and we were trying to get people to understand that we've got to stop using the term e-cigarette, because the cigarette connotation was going to be the downfall of everything. And nobody, that's all we know, it's what we know. Too late. Now it's got that connotation in the public, court of public opinion that, cigarette. Oh, it's a cigarette. No, it's not.
Exactly. And you know what the other term really bothers me?
Ends?
No. Freebase.
Yes, I see that.
I always say traditional. I say traditional. It bothers me only because I think
drug connotation,
the drug, like with the idea of freebasing and stuff like that. So I'm always saying, let's use traditional nicotine, and we try and use those words. And smoker, and I know
people who smoke,
and darn proud of it. In Canada, the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, Carolyn Bennett, our first, she ensured that the language around smoking was people who smoke moving forward, because it was the last stigmatizing language change.
Okay.
It was the last one, because we use terms like, we don't use drug users. We say people who use drugs or people who consume. So she changed the language to match the rest of addiction, the rest of the addiction linguistic catalog that we had.
But the thing is, I've tried that. We've tried that in various places, and I can see both sides of it. I don't think we should have the stigma at all, and I will try to use people who smoke all the time.
It's not easy.
I do. It's not easy to do, because the language that's used in their language, we say their language, us and them. I hate that, but that's the term that everybody knows. But why are we using that term in the first place? Why are we calling somebody a smoker? They're not a barbecue, piece of barbecue equipment.
And they're not only someone who smokes. There are more than just one action of who they are.
Right. That doesn't define who they are. But again, it's the dehumanizing. And I think that ties into what I was saying before, is that some lives, they don't believe that they're valuable.
No. And thank you.
And that's what stigmatization does.
Yeah. And thank you to the people part of the FCTC, the long-term NGOs, who have done a great job of stigmatizing and shaming people who smoke. Yep. And they created the base of where they're able to jump off when it comes to people who found a way to quit smoking, not their way.
Well, you've got to remember something too. I mean, there's so many different contexts involved here. I mean, it's the money aspect. And when we talk about the money aspect, it's not just funding the FCTC. It's not just the government's using their tax excise to pay for health care costs. It's also, pharmaceutical companies and how they support health systems in countries. Mm-hmm. So if people aren't buying first of all, if people aren't buying NRT, I don't know how big that market is in one particular country. It's very small. But on the flip side of that, if people are smoking and get cancer, that's a moneymaker, isn't it? Because of the cost of the treatments.
Yeah. Oh, I just think about asthma inhalers.
Yeah, like Ventolin or whatever.
Ventolin. But my husband went from buying two of them every 3 to 4 weeks when he was smoking. And now when he's vaping, he buys one every 3 months and the other one once a year.
Think about it. I mean, a pharmaceutical company is a for-profit company. Mm-hmm. They've got to make money. They've got to please their shareholders. Not that much different than tobacco companies, really, when you think about it. Any corporation. So they have to make their shareholders happy. What do shareholders want? They want dividends on their shares. Okay? Pharma makes probably the majority of their money on keeping people as clients and not on cures.
Yeah. Tobacco-related illnesses are illnesses that people can have long-term lives, sad long-term lives, not very comfortable ones. But because of all those illnesses, they can buy medicine after medicine. But we're going to take off our tinfoil hats now. But it's not really a tinfoil hat.
Well, no. I mean, there's one other thing I want to say. And I've thought about this many, many times in the past few years, is, governments should be caring more about the well-being of their people, even, especially if they're part of the UN and part of the WHO, because the WHO is part of the UN. In the world that we live in now, in the post-truth, post-COVID world, a lot of governments and a lot of countries are suffering because of the loss of income and revenue. Okay? And maybe somewhere in the back of their minds, they're thinking, okay, we're not going to worry about tobacco because the people that have already were going to switch or quit have already done that. These are hardcore people, and then they're no hopers, right? But let's make sure that that people don't have the choices and the options that we want them to have, because it's not acceptable. If you remember, and you won't remember, but you learned about this in school, because I did as well. Do you remember learning about the Prohibition?
A little bit, yeah. And
Al Capone and people dying of bathtub gin, and nobody cared about that. That's not how Prohibition got, rescinded. Prohibition got rescinded because of tax revenue.
Exactly.
So think about that.
And the arson taxes.
Yep.
But that's enough for another conversation.
Sorry.
That's okay. And Nancy, it is a pleasure.
Thank you, darling.
It was a pleasure talking to you. I love hanging out with you. Can't wait for 2026. Nancy, if you want to catch Nancy's a full day talking about Asia Pacific here at Good Cop 2.0, we'll have the link in the episode. Thank you so much.
Efkaristo.
Parakalo.